Hey mamas, it's your midwife Kira here. Have you ever wondered if you might have a better experience with a birth center birth versus a hospital birth? Well, Dr. Brytani's here to share her birth story with you guys. When she came in for her consultation, her story really touched my heart, and I know you guys will see why.
Hi, I'm Dr. Brytani. I am a second-time mom and delivered my second baby at the birth house. And this is my second baby, Brooklyn, and she was born August 16th of 2017. So what kind of made me want to switch from the normal average OBGYN care that most moms are only familiar with that care to midwifery care was my first birth. It was kind of a traumatic birth. I went into labor at 36 and a half weeks, so I was early. Went into the hospital, I guess April 6th was a popular day then. There was a lot of moms there delivering. My doctor was not on call, which was a little frustrating, nerve-wracking, aggravating, all those. The doctor on call actually had 2 of his patients there delivering, and we were all pretty much delivering at the same time. So that was all a little crazy, but when it got down to when I was ready to push, the doctor was in the next room delivering a baby. The nurse was like, no, you're not ready to push, like you can't push. And of course, my baby kind of got into stress. We had, some scary moments there, and I'm like, no, I want to deliver this baby. Well, finally the doctor comes in. This is like 2 to 3 hours later, and he was just like, oh my gosh, you haven't started pushing? And I was like, no, I haven't. They ended up using forceps. They crushed his skull and he had a hemorrhage. They actually gave him 3 days to live. It was a very scary moment. I didn't get to see my baby. I didn't know how much he weighed. I didn't know really what he looked like. I got to see him for just a few seconds, and he had already was blue, had bruises all over him. I don't think that my son needed to be born with forceps. I didn't really have an option. It was like, oh, we're gonna do a episiotomy cut, and here's forceps, and that was it. There was no options. They made the options, they did it, and my little boy suffered. Now, on April 6th of this year, he will be 5, and he is 100% healthy, cute, blonde, curly-haired boy, typical 5-year-old, but it's just not exactly what I wanted, and so I sought different care for our little girl. So the day of Brooklyn's birth, within 45 minutes of my water breaking, my contractions were about 7 minutes apart. It went extremely fast. She was ready to come into this world. We finally made it to the birth house, and it was an absolutely wonderful birth. My husband arrived 10 minutes before she was born, and 10 minutes later, after he got here, Brooklyn was born. I think the biggest reason and the most important reason to seek midwifery care is the relationship that you build through your pregnancy. There were many times during my pregnancy that I had crazy pregnancy, weird questions, and I'm a doctor and I have studied tons of things, but still there was things that I'm like, is this normal? What do you think about this? And all I had to do was pick up my phone and text or call, and they immediately responded. Another thing that's great about the birth house is the appointments. And I think this is absolutely important and amazing. Your appointment is not scheduled for 5 minutes. It's scheduled for 30, 45, or an hour, depending on where you are in your pregnancy. You get to experience one-on-one with the midwife. They ask you tons of questions. Asking those questions like the midwives do is really important because it lets you know that's a normal thing, but they need to know about it. The midwives were amazing.